You mentioned Abu Dhabi, and new guys might be surprised at the strong connection that you have to ADCC. Can you let us know about that?
Yeah, ADCC, I met, long story short, I met Sheikh Tarnoon. He used to be called Ben. He in US, I used to have a school in Del Mar. And one day he walked in and I want to try, gonna have a class. So I gave him a gi like I treat everybody else. I gave the gi, especially at that time. We didn't have UFC, we didn't have, so it was like, you really got to work to, put a student inside your school. And I gave him the gi. He had a lesson with me, a class, and he fell in love with the art. And then we became very good friends. After he received his blue belt, he invited me to have a lunch, and then he finished his business college here. He was in college here, getting his degree. And he made him a business proposition and to go, and he wants to continue training until he receives his black belt. And he made him a business proposition, and I ended up going to Abu Dhabi. And once in Abu Dhabi, the story behind it's not the story behind what happened with the ADCC was that we invited some guys to train. So we started training those guys to MMA to fight in Japan.
What year is this?
This was in 1994, 95, if I'm not mistaken. And with Sean Alvarez, Ricardo Moraes, and then some Russian guys, we had a team. We start calling ADCC, and Tarnoon start sponsor us to go fight in Japan, some tournaments in Brazil. And but the whole idea of Tarnoon, he wants to do a big event. He always had that dream to do a big event, and then he gave me some money and asked me to go to Brazil and put an MMA fight, MMA tournament in Brazil. So I ended up going to Brazil. I don't know if you remember, Renzo fought Eugênio Tadeu, Murilo Bustamante fought the guy from Boylander.
Jerry Boylander.
Jerry Boylander, Tatarov fought Sean Alvarez, so I put in the event. And then at the end of the event was a big fight, guns, and it was a mess. And so finally I went back to Abu Dhabi. I said, Tarnoon, I'm sorry, I tried my best. It's like, you know what, thank you so much, but we're gonna try to do something else. So he tried to do this event in his country, but back at that time, his father didn't allow that type of fights in his country. His father is very peaceful guy, and he was totally against his beliefs. And so Tarnoon, listen, let's, bring some tournament that we can have like MMA fight without the punch. It's more like grappling. So and then he put that thing on his mind, and Tarnoon is very and then he came up with the ADCC. They called ADCC, but ADCC was already, we had already ADCC, and then that's when you put the first ADCC in Abu Dhabi.
Interesting. So ADCC stands for Abu Dhabi Combat Club.
Yeah.
So originally it was just that. It was just a club of guys to train and go do MMA fights.
Yeah, absolutely.
I see.
Yeah.
So what's your interest now? Do you enjoy watching ADCC, or you're a gi guy? Do you enjoy watching gi tournaments, or both?
My thing is with gi. It's not that I dislike no gi, but I learned the traditional jiu-jitsu thing gi, and I truly believe that if you want to be a good no jiu-jitsu guy, you have to train with the gi. Until nowadays, someone can prove me differently, but if you take all the ADCCs and you see all the champions in most of the weight divisions, it's all guys that are training all year round with the gi. So I think there is not much to say about this.
Right.
But yeah, my thing is with gi.
Everybody, a lot of guys, especially gi guys, make that argument that all the ADCC, most of the ADCC guys come from a gi background. And in my mind, I'm not sure if they got that good because of the gi. I think so. But I think also that the gi allows you to train for a lot longer times without so much risk of injury that no gi has. It's a little faster. And there's so many more things you can do with the gi. It keeps you mentally more engaged. I hear a lot of no gi guys, after a while, they get bored because there's not that much to do.
With or without?
Without.
I'm the same. I think the same. Okay. I think the same. I think after a while, it's like we have no gi classes here at the school, and sometimes I ask Professor Rafael, Professor Marcelo to teach those classes, because it's not that I don't want to, it's like my thing is with gi. I love with gi. I think Without the gi, you can rely on your strength, on your slippery, and then it gives you a false sense of security.
Right.
And I'm totally a gi favor guy.
Would you say, I mean, I love gi and no gi. Would you say, what do you say to guys that don't like to do no gi? Do you think no gi helps the gi as well?
Yes, somehow yes, but it's not because I've been trained. I fought the ADCC in New York once. I was supposed to fight the first ADCC, no gi, I hurt my knee. But it's not that I don't train with gi, but there is no doubt about if I have to choose one or not, it's like 100% with gi.
Right.
It's more fun, it's more submissions, it's more, I think it's harder with the gi, I think is the soul of the jiu-jitsu.
Right. So the soul jiu-jitsu, you saw it from the beginning in Copacabana all the way till now. You've seen a lot of the young guys now doing all these new games, a lot more De La Riva oriented games. How do you keep up with all that? Or do you not change anything?
Oh no, I think I'm very open-minded in terms of learning, because you can put an end point on your process of learning. I'm totally like De La Riva, beating Bolo 50-50, and I try, students come, oh, look this 50-50, look this sweep, look these sound bars. I'm totally open for new techniques, new beating Bolos, new foot locks or whatever. My only concern is that for the newcomers is, I truly believe the foundation of jiu-jitsu never let you down. So when you have a good foundation, then I think it's, okay, let's bring the beating bolo, let's bring the 50-50, let's bring whatever you want to put it, the ingredients you put in the pot, but you already have the main food, the main taste in the pan. No, a little bit salt, a little bit pepper, it's part of the thing. So that's what I believe. It's not that I don't like those techniques. And there is a lot of, sometimes I hear people saying, oh, but if you do a beating bolo in a street fight, the guy is gonna kill you. Yeah, but you gotta separate of the beating bolo technique is for jiu-jitsu competition. Doesn't mean that the guys doing beating bolo, he's gonna do beating bolo in the street. So there is a lot of misunderstanding about, which I'm totally open-minded for all those new techniques out there.
You made a speech to the class earlier today about tapping to lower belts, and I thought it was really interesting. And you went around the room pointing out which of the lower belts you tapped to. Why did you point that out?
Because I think one of the blockers, if I can say that, of people learn is the ego. Is like, you don't want to tap. You don't want to, sometimes I tell the student, if you should come every day at the school, before you leave, you should tap 3 times. Then little by little you lose, you don't care anymore of tapping. You don't want to, because if you, let's say I want to learn beating bolo one day. I never done this before, but if I want to learn, the guys want to pass my guard. But if I have, I'm going to try to beating bolo, the guys want to pass my guard, I'm not training beating bolo, because I'll be so afraid of the guy pass my guard. It's the same, goes to any submission, arm bars or whatever. If I want to escape today from arm bar, I'm not going to tell him that, hey, I'm going to let you take my arm and then I'm going to try to, no. As we roll, I'm going to give opportunity to you, but only me, I know that I'm trying to learn the technique, so I don't care if I'm going to tap. So I think this is, it's important to tell the students, don't concentrate too much in, oh, I don't want to tap today, I don't want to, because it's better you come here, tap 10 times, but you're learning something, than tap guys here 10 times and go home without, what did I learn today at the school? So
right.
That's the, I want to pass to those guys, is the mentality.
Right, I wholeheartedly agree. Of course, the more you move, the more situations you get into, the more you can learn. But how do you coach somebody who, I've run into these guys a lot, and sometimes I'm guilty of it too, where you're just holding a position and you're worried to move because you're going to get swept, and you end up just holding a position for 2 minutes, and then I think, like, what a waste of time that was. What do you say to people like that?
It's like I say, if you have the mentality of, because exactly like I said, if the guys hold you because afraid, or you're gonna pass, or he's gonna sweep, or you're gonna be, I can't move because you're gonna, it's like, if it's a tournament, you might understand, but here at the school, you can't have the idea, because here's where you're gonna learn to do well in tournaments. So you should have a way to avoid the grip, should have a way to avoid the sweep. You should have, if you don't, that's how you learn. Say, please, how do I do this? How do I escape? How I should be defending myself here and there? And that's it's part of the process of learning a good technique at the school. So,
okay. Last question for you. You've been training a long time. I'm not going to ask exactly how long, but how has your training methods changed in recent years as your body has aged?
when you say my way that I teach, the way
you spar.
To be honest, I used to say, I like to say that I'm like wine. The older I get, the better I get. But I try to keep myself in shape. I try to be, my game, I would say, from brown belt until today, especially defending open guard, my base, like, okay, if I feel like I'm about to lose a position or whatever, you always should have a house to go, which is like, okay, here I'm solid, here I can control the guy. So that foundation that I have always since brown belt I still use nowadays. Of course, with a little, legs over the head, the neck is kind of beat up a little bit. You got to avoid those techniques, but thanks God, the body's still hanging there, and I hope to keep that way for a long, long time.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing today,
Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. Hey guys, welcome back to This Week in BJJ. Today I'm joined with Nelson Monteiro. Nelson, thanks again for
Good to
coming
have you
on
here.
today.
Always a pleasure.
So let's take a look at a technique. On last week's show, Splinter showed a really cool calf slicer, and I know you like calf slicers too. Can you show me something maybe from the open guard?
Okay, let's do from spire guard. The guy standing up, which I have the spire guard. And what I'll do here, I'll break one grip. As I break the grip, I'm gonna break my knee bend, and then I'll stretch. As I stretch, I'm gonna move towards to the leg that will let it go the arm, that didn't let it go the arm. As I angle myself here, I still have my foot on the biceps. My foot from outside, I'm gonna place on top, as you can see, on top of his leg. I'm gonna keep right there, okay? So what happens here sometimes, the guy is gonna try to break the grip. And as soon as I feel I don't have the leg, the arm, I'm sorry, my hand is gonna go the back of his knee here, blocking his knee as I stretch my leg here, and I'm gonna bring the leg from outside, okay? Which is totally legal in tournament, okay? So as I'll do that, I'm gonna scoop the second one, putting pressure on the knee. As a figure 4 here, there is a lot of pressure. Of course, I'm doing slow motion so you guys can see it. And I'm gonna sit up. I can grab the back of his gi, I can grab the belt, hand on the floor, and I'm gonna start point my knee to the floor. Very important detail. Sometimes you're getting stuck here going up. So what I'll do, I point my knee to the floor. As soon as I do that, hug his hip, second arm as I move towards to him. There is a lot of pressure on the calves. Once again.
Yes, please.
So one, spire guard, break the grip. As I break the grip, I'm doing the whole movement together, leg close to me, angle myself, foot is gonna lay down on top of his lap here. The guy breaks my grip right away, below the knee, putting pressure that way, point my knee down, scoop my hip, figure 4 to put even more pressure, go towards your elbow, try to put a grip on the gi, belt, or even try to grab whatever you can. Try to hug his hip. As I do this, move towards my hip. So it's kind of like a move with your hip forward and increases the pressure tremendously on his calves. And as I move once again, he's stepping there.
Very nice. And we should point out the calf slicers are legal for brown belts and up.
That's right. Only brown and black, please.
Nelson, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hey guys, hope you enjoyed that interview and technique by Nelson Monteiro. Next week on This Week in BJJ, we're going to have techniques and interviews with Marcelo Monteiro. No relation to Nelson Monteiro. This is a different one, but Marcelo is a very talented instructor, and he's a longtime student of De La Riva. So I learned a lot from this guy while he was in our studio. He shows some really cool techniques on the De La Riva guard, and a lot of really small things that a lot of people overlook. So I think you'll enjoy that. That's coming up next week on This Week in BJJ. Thank you guys for watching. Please click the like button, subscribe to us. It's just a small thing that really helps us out. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next time on This Week in BJJ.